On this episode of 4x4 Garage presented by RealTruck, we're back at Woods Off-Road in San Marcos, California, working on the 2023 Tacoma. Last time we got the steps on, the bed cover, the rack system, and installed the Viair onboard air system. This time, what do we got left on the list, Johnny?
I think we're gonna be installing a rooftop tent, and then we're gonna install an Eaton ELocker in the front differential.
Gonna get going, get to work, and hopefully we can get it wrapped up pretty soon.
Go overlanding.
Go overlanding.
Hot springs and stuff.
Overlanding. Get out of bed. Something. Okay, so we got the wheels off, tires off. Johnny and I are gonna start getting the ELocker installed now. We're gonna tear the whole front of this thing apart, get to the diff, crack the diff open, take out the open differential, and install an Eaton ELocker so we'll have total traction at the push of a button. Go, baby, go! Time is money. Speed.
What?
Speed.
No. Slow, smooth, smooth is fast.
Fast is dangerous. Dangerous is dangerous.
I can drain the diff right now.
Oh, thinking ahead. We need to get the CVs out, and ultimately we're going to be putting the suspension lift on here too. So all we're doing is basically disassembling the knuckles out. We're going to pull the CVs out. Then after the diff's drained, we'll pull the diff out of the vehicle. So we'll disconnect the drive shaft and all the sensors and things on the front diff. Actually remove it from the vehicle and install the locker on the bench. There we go.
Okay, basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this ELocker into this thing. But before we take this thing apart, these clamshells are sort of weird to work on. So it's not like a Dana axle where the carrier preload. A lot of guys that do this all the time, they measure it by hand or like how it goes into the case, or they use a case spreader. On this one, it's super difficult. So another way you can do this is you have your pinion preload and then you have your carrier preload. So usually pinion preload for like brand new bearings is somewhere between 14 and 20 rolling inch pounds. So what you can do if you're gonna use the existing bearings and stuff like that to make sure that the carrier preload's correct is you use your rolling torque wrench. This is just a cheap guy. I can't afford the real nice one that's like 600 bucks. But what you do is you measure the preload with the carrier in it before you tear it apart. That way when you put it back together, you get it back to the same rolling torque and you should be good to go. I'm right around 8 or 9 inch pounds. Now we can start ripping this thing apart. My hand is not a hammer.
There it goes.
So on some of these you gotta cut the webbing out, so I'm interested to see if we're gonna have to modify it.
On this particular model ELocker, there's 3 little ribs inside the housing here that we have to grind away to give a little bit of clearance for the electromagnet, but you definitely don't want to grind too much of the rib away, as the electromagnet uses those same ribs as a stop to keep it from rotating. So we'll have to do that, do a little grinding in there to clear that, and then we're going to drill a hole to get the wire to poke through.
So when you're cleaning up your old gasket material, oftentimes when you split your cases apart, you're gonna mar the surface up in some occasions. As you can see right here, there's a slight nick in the case. So you're just gonna wanna grab a file and make sure you just clean that stuff up while you're there to make sure you have a nice flat, even sealing surface.
There it goes, snapped into place nicely. I think you're ready to put that carrier bearing on.
Well, if I'm not, we'll find out.
That's right. We haven't had to do something twice yet, knock on steel.
Oh, we do need to...
Oh, I knocked on steel, we're good.
We need to knock this other race out, though. Seems like it's rocking a little bit.
That's it, no, you're there. That's your backlash.
No, that's it. We're done.
That feels like perfect backlash, too. And I'm gonna say it's about 7.5 to 8 thousandths.
Well, let's check it.
Well, let me see. I haven't done this in a while. My eyeballs are off. It's a little bit in there. Yeah, maybe 6.5, 7. Yeah, there you go. We're at 5.
Yeah, and then it's gonna get compressed and it'll pull it.
What's the spec? 4?
4 to 8.
Right there, then.
That's fine.
We're on
Look,
the tight
we're gonna
side.
clamp it together.
It's
and if
brand
it
new.
moves,
It's not only that, it's brand new. It's hardly even broken in. So with it's going to be on the tighter side. It's not like it's got 100, 200,000 miles on it. Then we would expect the backlash to be on the higher end of the specification. Oh,
you're good. That's
this side's disconnected.
So far, what we've done was we took this third member out. We put a Eaton ELocker in it. We reassembled the differential, and then we're almost done putting it back in. We're gonna go ahead and leave the suspension disconnected because we're gonna put a lift on it next. And we just end up having to unhook all the stuff we've already done.
For now, too, while we do that, we're also still need to wire it. So as soon as Johnny gets these last few driveline bolts in, we're gonna bring it down and start running some wiring to the plug to the locker.
Waiting on me.
Action, go! Open that rooftop tent, boy. Oh, that's already open. All right. Alrighty. This is a Rugged Ridge rooftop tent. Sleeps 2 people. This is a great option. Give you a lot of room. Easy fold up and down. I mean, you're not allowed to go overlanding without one of these, so still just turn you right away at the trailhead. Still amazed how easy that goes.
Grab everybody so that we don't scratch it.
Everybody.
You guys are way taller than
Yes, she's not doing anything.
No.
Test fit done. Now we'll actually install it. Oh, it's so tenty.
Oh, look at that. Instant mansion.
And then you got
Let's deploy the ladder.
ladder. Here we go.
Okay, so.
Hey, look at that. Provided gear wrench.
What?
That's not bad. Dude.
This goes through the tent underneath that mat right there.
All that goes in there. You
Why are you making it more heavy?
putting the 205 in there.
Cool. Just keep your hands in the air and make it look like you're doing something.
I'm not doing anything though, see?
Do the wave, Amber. We need to move the rack.
We need to be
The rack came with this provided little weather strip thing to keep debris out of the rack, like the top of the rack and stuff. And it's gonna help protect itself, you know, instead of it being metal on metal. We can actually, not only that, but sometimes these things are noisy. So like if there's an opening at the top and wind's blowing over, it's like blowing over a bottle. And then people wig out because the car's making noise.
Use that step. There you go. That's why we put that on there. Look at in use. Johnny and Jeff got the ELocker into the Toyota diff housing. It's all assembled back there. Zaid's just finishing up the wiring over there. So while he's wrapping it up on the ELocker install, Johnny, you want to walk us through this LJ you built?
It's a 2005 LJ. The plan initially was to just do some light modifications, but it balled into this 1 tons 5.3 LS with a stage 2 cam, 4L60 built to the hilt. Just had to put a converter in it, loosen up the stall a little bit. It's got an Atlas 4-speed in it. It's got a set of 1 tons from Fusion 4x4, 60 front, 14 bolt rear, loaded with 513 gears, ARB locker. Built the cage, modified the front half, got rid of the Mercedes steering box. This is now a Durango steering box. Push everything forward just a little bit, so you rock that steering box down, push the front axle forward, and yeah, I had it for about a year.
There's like this much left of the original Jeep, right?
This is about 3 feet. It's about 3 feet.
Yeah.
But the body is all, that's all LJ.
That came out great. You want to pop the hood and show us the engine swap? Shiny. Ooh.
After any big build, there's always some tweaks and stuff that you got to do. You know, stuff might not be clearance as well. I can only do so much on a forklift. And then, you know, you take it out in the real world and stuff moves. So it's here for some tweaks. Like I said, we had to pull the converter out. The rear main seal didn't take. We ended up having to change that out. So the transmission had to come back out of it, but it is what it is. It does have Greg's Premier Power Welder on it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then steering's from PSC, so remote reservoir here. And then I don't TIG weld. I had to teach myself. So trying to get somebody over here to build the air intake, becoming a pain. So I just decided to do it myself. I bought a TIG welder and I sat there and practiced. And of course, you know, don't look at them. They're not Instagram worthy, but you know, they'll hold. And then, you know, famous, got to use the alcohol bottle for the overflow. So I got a Jack Daniels bottle over here.
Your trademark.
So Corey Holmes from Holmes Fabrication is actually supposed to be doing the AC on this. So the GM compressor is still there. I left the evaporator and basically everything else for the Jeep is there. We just need some custom lines.
Yeah, that is the rub with the LS and a TJ chassis, is that AC compressor doesn't fit. So you just notch the frame outs and on the factory mount and everything?
Yep.
That way you
hopefully
don't
it
have to
works. It's a lot of
custom
guessing.
serpentines. Yeah. Well, the more factory architecture and geometry you can keep on the front of these engines, the better. So that's always the preferred way to doing it.
It's got locked off-road, Riley over there, 14-inch 2.5 coilovers, 2x2 bumps. The steering and the links is done by me. It's got some PRP seats in it.
And you built a custom center console in here to house all the...
Yes, we did. So it's got a Quicksilver shifter in it, so ratchet shifter, and then it's got, of course, the 666 for the Atlas 4-speed. The gauges are sort of funny. Again, not my pick, the owner picked those. So autometer gauges, but when you take a look at them, they're Chevy gauges. So kind of sacrilegious to the Jeep people.
Nah.
He's got the option to take the top off still, so the gas fill's right here. It's got a Motorbilt 19-gallon fuel cell in the back. But basically, I made a plate that's threaded. All you do is take this off, and there's another bracket on the cage itself, and you put it right back on. You take the top off. Cool. Everything's super easy. I took 1.5 inches off the body. Batteries are back here.
So you got all the weight down low?
Yeah, it's sort of mini boat-sided, so these are completely welded in, tied into the cage.
You still got a little step if you want it.
Yeah. 188 wall, they're not
nice
light.
diamond plate gussets on the frame you built.
So the back half is actually from MotoBuilt. For some reason, they don't include a fish plate over where it would connect, where it butts
Yeah,
together.
you gotta butt weld
kind of
it.
plate. Yeah, you gotta plate those, especially
yeah,
if you're
that's a
gonna.
nice touch, though.
Especially if you're gonna, you know, use it for the suspension in the back. So, but the cage runs all the way to the back, so the thing's triangulated.
We got in there.
So the corners are from MotoBuilt as well, same thing as their tail lights. And front drive shaft is in here. We didn't get to putting that back in yet. We just put the transmission back in.
I like how you got...
That wasn't me.
That wasn't you?
That was a client.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like,
Who
oh, that's
wants
a good
bugs
idea.
and rocks and stuff crawling up out of there? This must look pretty sick with the top off with the fastback cage design here.
It does look sick. And I was a little wary of putting the top back on. You know, I've got opinions. If it was mine, I would do it a certain way or not. But actually, it came out very well. I love the way this thing looks. It's a 119-inch wheelbase, so the thing when it's out there in the parking lot and stuff just looks massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that tall, but it's long.
Yeah. All right, Zaid, throw her in 4-wheel drive. Okay, hit the locker. Yeah. All right, turn it off.
Free.
All right, turn it on. Sweet, locker's working. We have an E-locker.
The floor feels good.
Yeah, take a nap. Pull you straight out. Creeper.
I don't use those.
It's a different kind of creeper. Well, that was another productive day here at Woods Off-Road. We got the tent installed, the locker's all done and operational. Next time we're gonna come back, get the suspension lift on and the wheels and tires mounted, and then take her wheeling.
Yay.
Yay. High five.
OMIX-88, never heard of them? Vintage Jeep parts and stuff like that.
Vintage Jeep parts?
All sorts of Jeep parts.
There's the problem.
The J parts.
My Camaro is not even allowed into Good Guys. It's too new.
What year is your Camaro?
79. Smog car. It's
old
a
in
race
our-
car now.
It's old in our terms, in our day.
Whoa, hold up. My car's older than me, so.
I hear you. It's not older than me, but it's still old.
I don't think you're old.
But I'm older than your car,
How old are you?
49. So 74. I've got
Yeah,
5
no, I
years
know
on
that,
your
but-
Camaro. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not old enough to be my dad, though.
No.
Yeah, see,
I
you're
did
young.
no way I could spawn you, son.
Although that would have been badass.
I went back in time and I spawned.
Hey, my
John.
dad would have been a car guy. My real dad is not a car guy. He'd rather change the whole lamp than a light bulb.